So up to now, we've created a form that opens up a new form, it edits new information, we get information, but now we need to start adding or make sure that we can add some navigation and some status to our application. And so we're going to, in this video, add this menu bar. My particular one might say at the moment, save, I have edit, and then when I click on open form, that's going to do the same thing as if we had clicked on this open button here. So that functionality is the same. I'm also adding this toolbar across the top, little icons. So if I click on this file icon, it's going to do the same thing. So the code behind the scenes is the same. And then down here at the bottom, we'll have this little status strip we can add information to. Instead of putting pop-up boxes, or we've been putting labels here in the past, we can just put a little status bar down here. So we're going to explore how to make sure we know how to do those things in this video. All right, so the first thing we'll do is we'll add the menu here, and then we'll do the tooltip and then finish off with the status bar. So the menu is very simple. So I have my form here. I'll make it a little bit bigger just to give myself some more room. And what we'll do is slide all that down, and in our menus, and I'm in the toolbox here on the left hand side, and in menus and toolbars there is the menu strip. So if I double click on menu strip, it shows up at the top. Very easy. I can click inside the box that's provided, type in a word like file. You can see the little drop down where we can add something else like save, perhaps. The box next to it, I think I'll put the edit that we saw in the example. We also had in the example, I think, add new, and then perhaps open form, something like that. Okay, and so now let's go into, if we, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have clicked away. So I'm going to click on open form, and you'll see in the properties, there is open form tool strip menu item. Okay, well that certainly works. Or you can give it another name, maybe tool strip open form or something like that. All right, so just like any other form or any other button, it really works just like a button. Any other button that you've had before, if you double click on the word, you're opened up into your event handler, and it says TS open form click. And really what it's doing is the same information that we did in our button prior, where we clicked on that button and we had things happening. And I'm sure you're well aware that it's bad practice for us to just copy and paste that and do duplicate code and put that into this same, I mean, we could, but that's just bad practice. It's bad form because, of course, if I had to make a change for some reason, then I have to make sure I catch all of those examples. And so there's obviously a better way to do it, and that would be to write a private method that they both could share. So I could say private void open menu, and then from there I can copy, now I can copy that code, but I'm going to cut it out, okay, and then paste it there in open menu. And so then whatever buttons or code that I want to use to open the menu, of course, I can just make a call then to that method, open menu, and then I can do the same thing here. So that makes sense. So not repeating code. Anytime I see code being repeated, I'm copying and pasting, then I should figure out a way to cut and paste instead, right? Or find a way to loop, or find a better way to handle that situation. And so now, Shift Control B, I always like to build to make sure I don't have any errors, and it looks good to go. So now we've successfully put, well, let's just make sure we've successfully done it. We'll run it. So now we have this file menu. If I click on this button, then it's exactly the same thing as clicking on this button. It acts like a button, so I'm going to call it that, even though it's my file menu. So it's doing the same thing. So that's good. Next thing we'll tackle then is the tool strip that goes across, goes right underneath it. It's no similar, it's just like we see icons in any of our Microsoft applications. So we have the menu at the top and then this tool strip down underneath it. So let's see how we do that. Menus and toolbars, same thing. Tool strip, that sounds interesting. So I'm going to double click on tool strip, and it automatically puts this tool strip across the bottom. So if I click on the little icon that's displayed here, I get a weird looking icon, this blue mountain with sun or moon. I think it's a moon. So it is a button just like anything else. So let's see, of course that image doesn't make sense. So what I'm going to do is go into my properties, and under this, one of my options, it says image. I'm going to click on image and then the ellipse, and of course you can import from anywhere that you have icons. I have this icons folder, which I've also supplied to you in the instructions. So you can utilize this folder to, I'm going to navigate down to open. And of course, there's lots of different sizes. I think it's appropriate to choose the smallest one in this case, and open, and it'll import that image into your project. And of course, also then onto your tool strip here. So that looks great. So now if I double click on it, just like anything else, I get a event handler. But of course, we want to utilize the open menu because it's the same concept, right? Don't duplicate code. So now I can say, make a call to my open menu. And so now I have started a tool strip that's doing the same thing. One other idea is that if you scroll down back, I'm going to make sure to click on the right one. If you scroll down to Tooltip Text, this is a kind of a nice thing. So instead of tool strip button 1, I'm going to put open form or something like that. And so now when we run it, let's just see what that's going to do. Let's see how things are shaping up here. Fantastic. I've got this nice little icon, but notice when I hold my cursor over it, I get an open form. So there's my little tooltip. And then if I click on it, then of course it should be doing the same thing because it's calling the same method. So that's looking fabulous. And the last thing then that we're going to do in this video is add that little status strip down at the bottom to give some feedback to the users as to what things are progressing in our application. So to do that, this little icon, this little option down here, status strip, sounds interesting. So I'm going to double click on that. And you'll see that it put little text down here at the bottom of my window. And so if I click on that, it turns into, and it's just like a label. So I'm going to put status, tool strip status or something like that. And it just becomes a label that we behave with, we interact with just like any other label we've utilized, except it's a status down at the bottom of our screen. For example, let's double click on the form itself. And so that'll bring me to the form loader. So on load, when that form loads, do something. And what I'll do is on that particular text, I didn't give it a very interesting name. So let me go back and give it a better name than tool strip status label. That seems so, oh, I did give it, oh, I guess I did. I didn't remember doing that. Tool strip status. Well, okay. It was at least 3 minutes ago, so I've already forgotten. All right. So that means we will go back in here. And we will call it, oh, I was on the form load, there it is. So tool strip status dot text, just like we would have done with the label, equals, and let's make this ready. And so you can see at any point in time, you can change that text for, you know, file saved or whatever else you might need to be giving feedback to the user with, right? So let's hit Control 5 and make sure that that's all working swimmingly. I see the ready down here and my status strip looks good. I have my tooltip that can open a form, perfect. And I have my menu at the top where we set up this open form, which is also opening the same dialog. So we have successfully created some nice feedback and navigation to our users.